We're going to talk about a group of children and a mother and how this thing came to such a tragic end. And really, I'm going to kind of give you guys some insight. You guys know kind of how I do here, so I don't want anybody to get upset about my thoughts and my feelings. If you are here, then y'all know how we get down. We're going to always be on the side of children first. We're not going to really too much worry about the feelings of the adults and how we might maybe be disparaging them or anything like that. But here's the story. A suspect is in custody in connection with the stabbing deaths of a Columbus mother and her count them, 3 children. This guy right here, his name is Travane Jackson. I believe his full name is Travane Brandon Jackson. He's 27 years old. And of course, they put his entire name out. I'm surprised they didn't put his social security number out. Because it seems like whenever it's a man doing these type of things, they put all his information out there, right? Now, they say that he had a long-term relationship with a woman by the name of Jerrica Spellman. Let me try to get her photo up on the screen so you guys can understand. This is the mother right here, and we're going to talk about her just a little bit, okay? But they were in a long-term relationship, not a marriage or anything like that. But he was charged Thursday with 4 counts of family violence / murder in Columbus. Jackson's arrest came after authorities found Jerrica Spellman, who was 29 years old. So that means she was 2 years older than him. Thank you, Green Eyed Reed said, I love what you're doing on this platform. Much love and support. Hit us up in the super chat there. So thank you very much. I appreciate that. She's 29 years old and she has 3 children, and they found Jerrica Spellman, 29 years old, and her children dead Wednesday evening at Elizabeth Canty Homes near 20th Avenue and Cassetta Road. The 3 children were identified. Let me see if I can get their photos here so you guys can see who exactly I'm talking about here, because I had a photo of all of them together. Let's see if I can get them all together here. So that way we can, right here. This is a perfect photo right here. 3-year-old King Jackson, which is this one right here, 3 years old. 1-year-old Kinsley Jackson, looked like she just started learning how to walk. Beautiful little girl, love the natural hair. And 1-month-old Kristen Jackson, that sweet, innocent little baby down there. Man, this is difficult, okay? They found them and identified them. And they said it's a tragic situation, and this is coming from Muskogee County Coroner Buddy Bryan, and he told the Columbus Ledger-Inquirer, one of the most brutal that I've seen in my 7 years as coroner. And I want you guys to remember what a coroner does. That is their job, to deal with dead bodies. So the fact that he said that this completely threw him off, I think says a lot, while I'm over here dropping stuff everywhere, but it's okay. Now, let's keep going. They believe that he is the father of the 3 children, and he lived in the apartment with Spellman at the time of the quadruple murder, police told the news station. Now, it sounds like they're saying that he lived with her, but I think that the apartment was actually in his name, so we're going to get to that here in just a moment. The mother, Spellman, Jerrica Spellman, let me make sure that's her name. Yes, Jerrica Spellman filed a domestic violence report against Jackson in 2017. Did you guys catch that? She filed a domestic violence report against Jackson in 2017, and he was later arrested in connection with the incident. That's key, and that's huge. It's not clear how the case was resolved, but details about what led to Wednesday's deadly stabbing have not been released yet. But Columbus police officials discovered the gruesome scene after receiving a tip, meaning somebody either heard something or said something, and they turned it into the police, so good job to them, earlier that day. And Jackson, again, age 27, is the only suspect in this case based on what the police said. Now, here's where the update comes in, because that just came in today. The bodies of the victims will be sent to the GBI crime lab in DeKalb for autopsies, and here are the results. Muskogee Coroner Muskogee County Coroner Buddy Bryan said that the preliminary autopsy results for Spellman and the children are coming back. According to the coroner, Spellman died of multiple stab wounds to the neck and torso. The mother, the little boy, died of multiple stab wounds to the chest and torso. Kinsley died of multiple stab wounds to the neck and torso. Baby Kristen died of multiple stab wounds to the neck and torso. That's hard to grasp right there. That is very hard to grasp right there. I want you guys to think about that. Not only do you guys have to think about the fact that it takes a person with some major league hate in their heart to do something like that, but to do it to one kid, then to turn around and do it to another kid, and then to turn around and do it to a baby as well as the mother. Thank you, John. That's just pure hatred. Like, I don't understand that. But whatever was going on, we're going to point out the fact that not only is this person evil, but we're also going to point out where the mother might have put her kids in danger, okay? I want you guys to remember that I said that. Major Hawk with Columbus Police Department says that they were first tipped off to the incident earlier in the day at a separate location. They then came to the Candy apartment home to discover what they end up finding, the gruesome scene. Officers received information to come to this area concerning possible individuals being deceased. Upon arrival, the officers, did find 4 individuals that were indeed deceased, said Major Hawk and the Columbus Police Department. From Columbus Police Chief Ricky Bourne's press conference on the Quadruple murder last night at Elizabeth Candy Apartments, we now know that Jackson and Spellman, the mother, were in a common law relationship for several years. Not a marriage, but they're basically saying because they lived together and they had children together, they were living as a married couple, but not legally married. They call that to be common law marriage, okay? But they said they were in that for several years, all right? Now, Spellman, now here's the catch, because I want to show you guys a photo that I don't know if you got, like, let me know if you, first of all, have you guys heard of this story before? If you have, then I'm going to, and yes, thank you, Miss Lady T. Sinays. We're getting ready to call that out here also. And Triz 3130, thank you for calling that out. We're getting ready to call the mother out for where she might have went wrong. Because what we want to know is how did we get to this point? Because we have to talk about this and look at this as a cautionary tale in order to make sure that other people have an opportunity to see what happens when you make mistakes like this and how costly it can be, okay? That's all I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to disparage the mother, disparage the family members, or make anybody feel any worse than what they already are, but we absolutely have to learn what caused this. I found a picture on the internet of the mother. Would you guys like to see it? Not only that photo, but there's one that's worse than that. This one. Want you guys to take a look at this photo. And while you guys are here, if you guys would, please click the thumbs up. It'll share the stream. Let other people know that we're live telling this story, okay? Thank you to the people that have already clicked the thumbs up, by the way. Want you guys to take a look at this photo and tell me, what do you think that the mother was doing to earn income? Anybody want to take a stab at that? No pun intended, by the way. Based on this photo, this is confirmation as to what she was doing to earn income. Why am I bringing this up? Because your boy, who is a professional mobile DJ, as you can see from this awesome t-shirt here that some people have already purchased by way of Spreadshirt.com. But I have worked in strip clubs. How convoluted can that life make your personal life? It can make your life very convoluted. It can make your life very dangerous. It can make your life very confusing. Yes, selling her body. Very good, Crystal Chan. I'm so proud of you. But I want you guys to understand that I have my daughter in the chat. Even my daughter understands how bad this is. And that's the whole point. Because I believe that once a child has understanding and knowledge and discernment, that you can give these children anything and empower them to make better choices in their own life. Because you have to understand, you want to raise them to be good children, to be good girls and boys, so they can grow up to be good men and women. Everybody kind of understand that? We want to raise good girls and boys so that way we can have good men and women. But you have to start at home, and you have to start while they are young. That's why I love it whenever we do have young people, especially my daughter, because this is the same type of stuff we talk about at home. Lisa said, Jay, your show is truly appreciated. It's sad that children are constantly being attacked. That's right. What is even more pitiful is the lack of parenting skills today. Keep doing what you're doing, and send a $20 super chat. So thank you very much, Lisa. That is an amazing message. That's my whole point. She was selling her body. They confirmed that Spellman, the mother, worked at a local nightclub. Wow. Just say strip club. I'm just saying, we ain't dumb. She worked at the strip club while Jackson worked at a local car wash, according to police, but they have not released the names of their employers yet. We don't need the name of their employers. We just need to know what they were doing for a living. Now, how difficult do you think that would be for a man that's been with this woman for 7 years, for him to be working at a car wash and for her to be up in the club, showing the world everything that she has to offer on a physical level? How many guys do you think are gawking at her, trying to get her number, trying to take advantage of her, probably following her home, bringing her problems home, having dudes all in her inbox, sending her pictures, sending her messages, harassing her, stalking her? Are we starting to get a picture about what might have caused this? Are we starting to get a picture as to what the motive might have been? Because I want you guys to remember the fact that this is a crime of passion. This is someone that was enraged on an emotional level to an ungodly extreme. In order for you to do that, the three of your own children, as well as the children's mom, there was extreme hate in your heart. Extreme hate in your heart. So again, you have to remember there is probably something that sparked this. And I can almost guarantee you that if you've ever even dated a woman that does the nightlife like that, or at least familiar with that type of lifestyle, then you know the BS that comes with it. And it's a lot of BS that comes with that, mainly a lot of crazy dudes. And if you're bringing a lot of crazy dudes into this man's family circumference, then that's going to end up causing him to be crazy on a mental level also. Because you'd have to be crazy to want to deal with that situation. Am I right or am I wrong? Thought I'd throw that out there. But matter of fact, I'm going to leave this picture up here just for a moment while we tell the rest of the story. There has been ongoing domestic violence relationship between the victim and the suspect, but police do not know more about other aspects of the relationship at this point. I just told you most of what you needed to know right there. Police have recovered what they believe was the weapon, but Chief Boren would not answer more questions about the weapon at this time. There was a welfare check requested by family members. Keep that in mind. Family members at 8:53 p.m., police said, before the victims were found. Police believe the welfare call came from Columbus. So somebody knew that something was wrong. The family members knew that something was wrong, okay? I think it was earlier than when we actually were notified, but that's under investigation now. Also, Boren said about the welfare check request. We also know that there was a previous domestic violence report with the police called in by Spellman. So he had already been violent towards her. I'm not saying that she deserved what she got, but what I'm saying is that that lifestyle probably caused this dude to be mentally unstable. If we're going to talk about women being mentally unstable for postpartum depression and because you made her mad and because you cheated on her and all of that, and she was not in her right mind, then maybe you guys would also have to think about the fact that she was giving her most precious gift, her body, to every man out there that had $5 cover to get up into the freaking club to come in there and look and gawk at his wife. Think about that for a moment. Boren said that chaplains will be at the South Precinct to aid officers with grief services after this tragic event. The apartment, which is what Tommy talks about a lot, they quote, was a near bare box and held only a pallet with 2 pieces of sofa as furnishings. 2 working people, and they say that this apartment that they lived in was a bare box, B-A-R-E-B-O-X, a bare box. How many times have you heard Tommy talk about these apartments that are barren, that have nearly no furniture in them? Had only a pallet and 2 pieces of sofa as furnishings. The Columbus Housing Authority says that it was rented in the name of the children's father, 27-year-old Brandon Jackson. So the apartment was in his name, meaning she lived with him. Now, funeral services will be held at 11 a.m. this coming Saturday for Jerrica Spellman, 29 years old, and her children, 3-year-old son, King, 1-year-old daughter, Kinsley, and 1-month-old daughter, Kristen. The service will be peaceful at Peaceful Holiness Church on Buena Vista Road. The visitation will be held at Lamb's International Funeral Home from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Friday for anybody that might be in that area. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and give you guys the fair usage and show you guys the couple of news videos before I really give my final perspective on this. And by the way, we're doing pretty good with the numbers. If you guys would click that thumbs up, bring a few more people in, tell a phone, tell a friend, hit that thumbs up for your boy. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107.
West Georgia father is accused of stabbing his girlfriend and their 3 children to death. Police say 29-year-old Jerrica Spellman was found dead with her 3 children inside their apartment. The kids were all under the age of 3 years old. 27-year-old Travane Jackson has been taken into custody. He faces multiple charges, including murder.
Let me go ahead and move to the next video here real quick. I'm gonna let most of these play through.
Well, patrol officers responding to a welfare check here at the South Columbus apartment complex stumbled on the ghastly scene. A mom and her 3 little babies slaughtered, allegedly, by their own dad. There is a quiet, eerie scene now at this Elizabeth Canty apartment in South Columbus where blood splatters are still visible outside the front door. Inside, 4 victims butchered to death, including a 3-year-old, 1-year-old, and infant baby girl. Their mother, 29-year-old Jerrica Spellman, suffered the most trauma with more than a dozen stab wounds. The killer then methodically placed the bodies on a pallet in the floor. Responding officers to the scene left with a lasting impression.
You're asking who is Brandon, Jason? So the father, his full government name is Travane, T-R-A-V-A-N-E, Brandon, B-R-A-N-D-O-N, Jackson, J-A-C-K-S-O-N-H, 27. So that's actually his full name. So sometimes you'll hear him referred to as Travane Jackson, and sometimes you'll hear him referred to as Brandon or Brandon Jackson. I did notice that too. Because at first I was like, well, who is Brandon? But Brandon is Travane Brandon Jackson. Maybe I need to put that and change that in the title description.
This was a horrendous scene that has had some bearing on the thoughts of the officers, investigators, as well as family members that were on the scene.
27-year-old Brandon Jackson, the father of the children, was picked up by police in East Columbus a short time later, in part thanks to the quick public response, the police chief said.
Everybody came together out there last night, and we saw a group of individuals that was there to help the police in solving these crimes. We don't always enjoy that.
Let me see. Sherelle said even if she was a stripper, she did not deserve to die. Well, guess what, Sherelle? I agree with you. How many people agree with Sherelle? She said even if she was a stripper, she did not deserve to die. How many of you in the chat agree with that? Because I agree with that. I don't deny that. And I think that he is a horrible person for what he did, regardless of what caused him to get to that point emotionally. My whole point about bringing up her lifestyle is to say, how did we get here? What would cause a person to get upset? It's kind of like if a woman were to kill a man, we would ask, what did he do to cause her to feel that way, right? We would ask, what did the man do to make her that upset? We would say, he cheated on her. Oh, now we understand what caused her to be so enraged to stab this man in the chest, right? So in this situation, we're just simply asking what caused this man to be so upset. What I would be curious to know is why don't people think that men get emotional over something? They don't just snap for no reason. Something caused it. And I believe that her lifestyle played a part in that. The lifestyle probably brought a bunch of bull crap, and only people who have been to the strip club, in the strip club, involved in a strip club, or involved with a stripper would understand what I'm talking about. If you've never been to a strip club, if you never dated a stripper, if you never worked at a strip club, if you don't know what I'm talking about, then just say, I don't know what you're talking about, Jay. I would have to trust your expertise. Because I've been going to the strip club since I was 21 and probably a little bit before that. Before I started DJing regular parties and anything else, I was DJing in the strip club. This is a lifestyle that I know personally. I have dated women, unfortunately. I've made some bad choices in life, and I have dated some women that have lived some less than reputable lifestyles. I know what comes with that. And it's a bunch of bull crap that comes with it. You get dudes that try to fight you. You get dudes that try to harass you. You get dudes that try to pull up at your house. You get dudes that try to harass you, your girl, and try to rape your girl and all kind of stuff, and sending her all kind of crazy messages and threats and all kind of stuff. So you just have to take my word for it that that would cause a person to go crazy in the head. So if you imagine, if they're talking about they have these ongoing domestic disputes, then what do you think they're fighting over? He works at a car wash. She works in a strip club. What do you think they're fighting over? I'm just asking a question at this point. What do you guys think they were fighting over? You don't have to take my word for it, but based on what we know, what do you guys think that they were fighting over? She did put herself in a higher risk of danger and had a crazy man, did not help. There you go. That's my point. And the fact that he clearly looks like a thug. I don't know if he's a thug or not, but when you date thugs, you date death. And I'm just saying he looked like a thug. Women like thugs. They date thugs. It is what it is. But I think it's a bad deal whenever you involve children in that type of lifestyle. And you can see in this situation, it didn't pan out that well. The children are the major ones that lose in this situation. Let's go.
Chief also described a volatile relationship, and court records show Jackson was in fact arrested just last year for simple battery family violence.
There had been an I
almost forgot about that point. How well do you think that would bode over the fact that she lives in his apartment? She got him arrested. He went to jail, got out of jail, and had to come back to that same apartment and live under that same roof with the same person that just sicked the white police on him. He was in jail because of whatever he did to her. She called the police on him, but they decided to continue to live under the same roof after he got out of jail. How well do you think that goes over?
Jackson was in fact arrested just last year for simple battery family violence.
There had been an ongoing domestic violence relationship between...
I'm going to tell you guys this. White Wolf Lawrence said that it was over money. He's not comfortable with her job. I'm going to tell you guys, I don't care how much a guy tries to front and tell you that he's okay with his girl, you know, whether she's in like the sex trade or something like that, or whether she's a dancer or doing something sexy on camera. Deep down inside, there's no man that's okay with that. Sorry, there's not. There's going to always be a problem and an issue. I'm just throwing that out there and telling you. That's what life has taught me. 36 years on this earth has taught me that. You just have to trust my word on that. Let's go.
Herself and our suspect.
Police also responding to those alternative theories floating around social media about who really killed the children, telling us they have probable cause, that critical element required to charge Brandon Jackson with 4 counts of murder. Robbie Watson, WLTZ, First News.
Upon officers arriving...
Well, y'all are saying that they were fighting over money. I think it was more or less them fighting over fidelity, not money, not finances. That's the wrong F. Instead of fighting over finances, I think they were fighting over fidelity. Fidelity. Can somebody type that in the chat? They were fighting over fidelity. Fidelity. That word. That part. Let's go.
Upon officers arriving at the scene, they discovered a female, adult female, and 3 children that were deceased on the scene. Later, the adult female was identified as Jerrica Spellman, 29 years of age. King Jackson, 3 years of age. Kinsley Jackson, 2 years of age. And Kristen Jackson, 1 month old. The homicide unit responded along with the robbery and assault division of the Columbus Police Department and assumed the investigation. Based on the investigation and the information that they were able to uncover, Travane Brandon Jackson, black male age 27, from the same address, was located and later arrested. He's been charged with 4 counts of murder, family violence. He is scheduled to receive a preliminary hearing Saturday morning at 9 a.m. in Recorder's Court. As it's scheduled now, that case will be rescheduled to Friday, July the 26th at 9 a.m. in Recorder's Court. This was a horrendous scene that has had some bearing on the thoughts of the officers, investigators, as well as family members that were on the scene. I appreciate the fact that you have come here today for this. However, it is an ongoing investigation, and a lot of stuff I will not answer here today. Thank you.
And I want you guys to think about this, and I'm getting ready to talk about this woman here in a minute with that mop on her head. But real quick, Columbus, Ohio. Where is Cuyahoga County? In Ohio. I want you guys to remember that. Columbus, Ohio, Cuyahoga County, close to Cleveland, Ohio. You guys remember, I've told you, because that's also the place where Anaya Day Garrett and that whole situation happened with Michael Garrett and Sierra Day and Deontay Lewis. That whole situation happened. A bunch of bullcrap is still coming out of Cuyahoga County, Cleveland, and Columbus. It's all in Ohio. All of this is in Ohio. If we don't know Ohio for anything else, we know them for the Ohio State Buckeyes and a whole lot of children getting murdered. I'm going to say that again. We know them for the Ohio State Buckeyes and a whole lot of children getting murdered. Then, in a distant third, Bone Thugs and Harmony. A distant third. A very distant third. Because this is absolutely insane. The fact that we continue to keep bringing these stories out of the same area. the same area. Y'all are saying that Cleveland is economically depressed. Well, I'll tell you guys the same way that Tommy tells you. There's a whole lot of areas that are primarily white that are disenfranchised areas also. I like that word, disenfranchised. Disenfranchised areas that are full of white folks that don't do this type of thing. And you don't just hear about tons and tons of murders coming out of these white disenfranchised areas. The reason why I say that is because of the fact that we are our own worst enemy. I want you guys to tell me with this story, what did white supremacy have to do with the fact that this man went and killed this woman and her kids, the kids that they had together? What did Donald Trump have to do with that? What did the police have to do with that? What did the fact that where they were raised or how they were raised play a part in this? Those two together made bad choices together and then turn around and put their children in these situations. Not only did they have one kid, not only did they have another kid, but then they had another kid. If you knew that it was already difficult to raise one kid in this disenfranchised area that you know is hard to make a living in, then why make a second kid? Then why turn around and make a third kid? We're not going to look at these situations and say, why do these people continue to keep having kids? Just like the story that Tommy did about the woman that needed a bigger SUV that ain't big enough to carry all the kids that she already had. And the fact that one of the things that I'm glad that he finally called out was the fact that they were going to have to help her pay for the maintenance on that vehicle. So I'm glad that he called that out, because that was one thing I was thinking, wait a minute, that still doesn't make any sense, because she won't be able to afford the insurance on a brand new car. She won't be able to afford tire changes. She won't be able to afford anything on that thing. Just buying somebody a vehicle. Tag, title, tax, none of it. Being irresponsible, and the fact that we continue to watch people have another kid, another kid, another kid. You guys keep celebrating and praising these women on Facebook and clicking the thumbs up and clicking the heart. Oh, that's so cute. I wonder what she's going to have. Instead of telling this woman, stop having kids. I'm going to say that again. Instead of praising these women on social media and saying, that's so cute, she's going to have another kid, instead of throwing these baby showers, how about we start throwing some bridal showers? Uh-oh. It's just Jay forcing you guys to think a little bit about what you're doing and how you're encouraging and perpetuating this behavior. Yes, I think I am. I think I'm asking you guys to just be responsible for your actions. That's it. Because the ones that end up losing are the children. That's it. Another thing why I want to talk about this woman who's sitting there in her PJs with that hooker lipstick on her face and that, I don't know what the hell you call that on her head. It looks like a straw hat. That don't even look like a weave. It looks like a straw hat. But I'm talking about this woman because I don't want to see her on camera. You want to know why I don't want to see this woman on camera? I want to see some men on camera. I am absolutely sick of the people that are constantly standing at the forefront and on camera representing the black community as women. You know why? Because women don't build anything and they don't protect anything. Gonna get mad about what I just said? Don't get mad about what I said. Just prove me that I'm wrong. I love women just as much as anybody else do. I love our sisters just as much as anybody else do. But I do not want to continue to see us lose. Did everybody catch that? I don't want to see us lose as a community, as the United States of America. If one of our groups of people are losing, we all are really losing, to be honest with you. We all look bad. When black people are doing all of this crazy stuff, it makes us all look bad. When white folks are doing crazy stuff, it makes us all look bad. When Mexicans are turning around and they're advocating for their relatives to come into the country illegal, instead of doing it the right way, it makes America look bad. Most of all of us only know America. Why not take care of your home, man? Did I say something that was factually inaccurate? We can get better. We just got to stand on the right things and the right principles. And one thing that we have to stop doing is letting our women be the voice of our community. Because it's not them standing out there on the front lines getting shot down, stabbed, and choked out. It's the men that are constantly getting arrested. When it goes down, do you want your women and your mothers out there fighting? I'm just asking y'all a realistic question. Well, they're the ones taking care of the kids. Well, fine, take care of the kids. Do that. We don't want you on the front lines. You're not built to be on the front lines. We need fathers and men. Women should take a step back. If the media is not going to allow this narrative to play out that the men are the most important, then fine. You ladies step back and say, I'm not going to interview. Find a man to interview. We're talking about the choices that we make, and we're making all the wrong choices. Every bit about what we're doing is about making the wrong choices. When you're talking about the government made it to where the man can't be in the house for a woman to collect benefits, then a woman, all she has to do is just say, I'm not going to collect the benefits. They're not forcing anything on you. It's the choices that you're making. The Great Society back in the 60s and 70s, when they instituted that and said that we will give you welfare, food, clothing, shelter, and provide for all of the things that you need for your children, just tell the man that he can't live there. That's a choice that they put out on the table and said that you can either choose this or not choose it. What did those women do? They chose it. I want you guys to remember that DJ Just Jay said this. The government cannot do anything to the American people without the American people's consent. I'm going to say that again. Nothing in America works without your consent. It needs your signature. It needs your confirmation. Everything that you are going through requires your permission, your consent, your signature, your affirmation. It's a choice. Everything is a choice. The problem is we choose wrong. I'm going to let you guys listen to her interview, and then I'm going to go ahead and close out. I've said pretty much everything I got to say.
Stop crime to stop murders.
We should take this as a lesson to be learned. This should not even happen again. If you get that angry, take a walk. Think about this case. Think about this scenario. Think about this cold, just heartless murder.
Many of the residents nearby simply will not go on camera, but they told me they are horrified at the thought of what happened in this apartment. Meanwhile, Carol believes someone must be willing to speak up to end the violence.
Somebody needs to do something. We need to wake up. We need to stop all of this because our children are even asking us, stop killing us. Our children are saying, stop killing us.
We got to stop having women as our spokespersons, man. It's just not right, and it looks bad. It makes us look weak to the rest of the world, man. Women, y'all got to take a step back. They going to keep putting the camera in your face and see if y'all going to continue to keep taking advantage of these camera ops, these opportunities. Y'all got to stop doing it. Stop doing it. It's making us look bad.
Live in Columbus, Bria Berry, WRBL News 3 on your side.
First and foremost, there is no sympathy for Travane Brandon Jackson. He's a grown man, and you make your bed and you lay in it. Literally, they lived on a pallet together, and I guess they were just gonna meet their fate that way. But I don't feel any sympathy for him for what the lifestyle of his baby mom probably caused him to think and caused him to make some bad choices. Again, her name is what's her name? Jerrica Spellman. I don't want to make any excuses for any of that because number one, if he had an issue with her, then as a man, you absolutely have to remove yourself from that situation or get yourself out of that situation, or even better, don't put yourself in that situation. If you knew that she was a stripper before and you probably met her doing that thing, she's not going to change, bruh. She's going to be ratchet. I'm not saying that they never change, but the likelihood of that being the case is not likely. Again, Cautionary tale. We can't be looking backwards, but we can look forward and say to the brothers that are thinking about going to the club and date one of these girls, cautionary tale, this is where you might end up. You might end up hurting her, okay? To the mothers out there, or to the women that are potentially thinking about dating thugs, understand that this is a cautionary tale. When you date thugs, bad things tend to happen. You can't plan for it. You don't know when it's going to happen, but it's definitely going to happen at some point in some shape, form, or fashion. If that's what you bargained for, then I encourage you guys to do it and don't have kids. Get yourself fixed. If you like thugs, and get yourself fixed so you don't have kids, because I do not want to see our kids continue to be put in dangerous situations where they cannot speak for themselves, nor can they defend themselves from the tyranny of the people that are raising them, the people that are in their custodial presence. That's wrong to continue to do that to these kids. And I can't imagine what type of rage that this dude was going through. I don't ever want to know what that was like in order to sit there and do that to these kids. Again, a 3-year-old, a 1-year-old, and a 1-month-old, not even 30 days old, man. Fresh newborn. Look at those beautiful babies. And they are beautiful babies. I can't lie. It's a beautiful thing when, as our people, we bring kids into the world. They are beautiful. Of all ages, of all races, children are beautiful, man. But we have to have them in the right place at the right time, in the right circumstance, with the right people, in the right financial situation. If we don't, they're going to end up being hurt. And we all are going to lose. And I think it's a bad thing for us to continue to keep going down this path. We know where it leads. We know how that story ends. And I think it is up to us to start being responsible for our actions and how we get there. That's why I think that men need to be at the forefront and women need to take a step back. Because at the end of the day, we know how to be responsible. We're always held responsible. We will always be held responsible. And we should. We should be the ones on the front lines defending and protecting, because that's naturally what we do. That is what we are best at, is defending and building. Women are best at being supportive. Bringing life into this world and being supportive. We all have roles. And if we learn how those roles work, instead of getting confused by way of what the media is telling you, if we just get back to the traditionalist mindset about having a family and having these nuclear families, mothers and fathers in the households, then I think that really we can start getting to a better place. But it has to start early, because clearly these two were not raised correctly, and they were turning around and putting their children in these situations where we popping bottles, we in the clubs, we doing this and we doing that, we not living right, and we turn around and make our kids suffer. That's got to change, man. So RIP to these little babies. 3-year-old King Jackson. RIP to 1-year-old Kinsley Jackson. RIP to 1-month-old Kristen Jackson. And to the mother, Jerrica Spellman. She was 29 years old. She was 2 years older than him. I just think that she put her children and herself in a very, very bad position. And I wish that things could have turned out different, you know. Nonetheless, I want to end this story, and I want to thank you guys for listening. This is your boy, DJ JustJayOK. I'm signing out, man. That's the end of the stream. I'm going to cut it right there.